Hey, everybody. You know what day it is? You know what time it is? It's Total Spotfest live time. And guess what? We got a big show lined up for you guys. We're talking Impact. We're talking New Japan. We're talking WWE. But we are talking NXT. And we're also bringing you deep thoughts of the Ninth Wonder. This is Total Spotfest Live.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, welcome back to Total Spotfest Live. Thank you guys for joining us. As you can see, this is our new format. We're all excited. We're doing different things here starting this week. So thank you for joining us. I am JJ Brownlee. With me is my co-host, as he is twice a week, Mr. Jamie Faulkner.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
There's a reason he said that. We'll get to in just a second. And we are joined by a person. This person is definitely the honey boo boo of the internet wrestling community.
100%.
It is the ninth wonder of the world, Nick.
Honey boo boo child.
It's better than being Mama June. Let's be real. Okay. So we do want to thank you guys for joining us here. So for those of you who have been watching, listening to us before or watching us on YouTube here, you're going to notice we're going to do things a little different tonight here. So we're really excited for it. If this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for joining with us. If you're watching us on YouTube and you like what you see, give us a like, give us a subscribe down below. We do appreciate it. You can leave a comment there. Jemmy and me have our Twitters displayed. You can definitely join the conversation with all of us at Total Spotfest on Twitter. As you can see, Nick has no Twitter. He has no social media. If you don't know Nick, that's par for the course. Mm-hmm. But for those of you listening to us on your favorite podcast station, thank you, welcome, and let's get into it. We're going to talk wrestling. So this is going to be a show going over every Tuesday. We're going to go over kind of an all-encompassing thing. Instead of spending a lot of time drawn out, really diving into the WWE shows, which, let's be honest, aren't that great, which is what we usually have been doing. We've taken your feedback and we're going to give it back to you. So we're going to talk about New Japan. We're going to talk about Impact Wrestling. We got lots of news and highlights to go over. And I'm still scared, Jamie. I don't know what Nick has planned. We gave him free reign. He's teasing ASMR last week, and hopefully we don't get there. But
God help us all. God help us all.
Indeed. So before we get into it, let's talk about some numbers. So now that wrestling is on every night of the week, they've shuffled the shows around. You have NXT on Tuesdays. You have AEW Unopposed on Wednesdays. You have Impact on Thursdays. How'd everybody do? So we record this every Monday night just for reference so you guys know. So Raw just aired by the time we come on and start recording. So we don't know what they did this week, the 19th of April, but last week's Raw, the Raw after Mania, which I had lots of words for last week. They did 2.03 million viewers. SmackDown from this past Friday, this SmackDown after Mania did 2.119 million viewers. So a little bit down for them, but still staying above the 2 million. Impact on Thursday. I'll talk about them in a few minutes here, but they went down a good amount from their Thursday debut. 132,000 viewers, which not what they're looking for. They want to get above 200 on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. NXT. Now we made the prediction. We've been saying for weeks here that NXT moving to Tuesday is going to be a boon for both of them. Well, guess what? It was. NXT. I think Jamie, you mentioned this last Thursday. 805,000 viewers. Mm-hmm. And that magic number AEW is trying to get to 1 million, right? That was their goal. That's what they want to be at consistently. Well, they didn't do 1 million. They did 1.219 million, the second highest viewed AEW show since their debut.
Amazing.
It's so good.
It was a great show.
It was spoiler alert, it was a great show. So we're going to talk about some AEW stuff here in a moment. But before we do, Jamie's going to tell us about our big story for the week. And that is going to be people no longer employed.
Yes. There were a lot of people that were wished, best of luck on their future endeavors. WWE missed the mark on a few of these people, and
A few,
yeah, okay,
a lot
of them. So WWE released 10 wrestlers this past week, and in no particular order, they released Wesley Blake, Mickey James, Tucker, Kalisto,
Ducky. Sorry, I had to do that.
Mojo Rawley, Bo Dallas, which totally poo-pooed one of my theories, and then the last last four, because you have Chelsea Green as well. She got kind of messed up there, but the last three really get me. The last three get me hard. I mean, like, it hurt me. Not, you know what I mean.
It's good. We're here for you, Jamie. We'll talk about it.
Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, the Iconics, are no longer in the WWE. And the biggest one that WWE messed up on, Samoa Joe.
Just, God.
Joe's gonna kill you.
Just not in WWE. Yeah, let us sink in for a second, guys. Two of those people, two of the last three names he read, were on WrestleMania.
One of them had a match.
And I know there was thought that when Joe was announced that he wasn't going to be on the Raw announce team, people are like, well, maybe he's moving to SmackDown. Oh, no, wait. He's going to be back in the ring. Yay! And you're fired. Boo.
So there is a little bit more news to Samoa Joe that's been circling. None of it's been reported accurate, but it makes sense. He's been expressing a strong desire to get back in the ring, and WWE is not allowing him to do that. He is not cleared. So
ironic.
So basically, I think there was an ultimatum: either you be an announcer or you're gone.
Which, I mean, let's face facts. He got a concussion doing a commercial shoot for WWE. So
yeah, they should be kissing his ass.
Yes, but he's an independent contractor, so he doesn't have rights.
Yeah,
he does have the name Samoa Joe, though.
That's his name.
He owns it. He owned it before he came into WWE.
Very smart.
So he's the only one. A few of them, they might be able to get here in a few months. By the way, all of them, 90-day no-compete. So
we'll see him until July.
Yeah, you're right. I put June down here, but you're right. July. I'm like, wait, that is 3 months. Okay. July 14th, I believe, is what it is.
Yeah, it was a year ago
so
to the day.
I wrote June 19th.
So another fun fact is a year ago to the day when they had their other mass firing.
And here's the part. Okay, now we're gonna be plenty of bitching and shitting on WWE this whole show. We all know that, right? Nick especially.
That's what Mondays are made for.
Mondays are made for that, but their excuses. Okay, if you want to let people go, fine. Just say, hey, we've come to release with them. Why'd you let them go? Hey, we've come to the release with them. Just leave it at that, right? They had to go out and justify, well, it's for budget costing. I was like, shut up. You guys literally made more money last year than you've ever made in your history. You signed $1 billion deal with Peacock. It's just, oh God, it's the stupid ass things. And a couple of them were told, from what I read online, I don't remember where that was, but a couple of them were told that their spot was safe, like around Mania. Now, there was a few is reported, I think Alvarez reported, that there was a few that were complaining about their booking, not being on WrestleMania, and a few other things like that. And, you know,
as well, they should.
Miss Peyton Royce.
Yeah,
Peyton Royce
unless we're
did.
talking about Mojo Rawley here, I think.
Get hype, bro. Come on. Interestingly enough, before this came out, like the day before this happened, I read an article from the Wrestling Observer from Brian Alvarez. Brian Alvarez, our favorite Wednesday Night War statistician, he had said that apparently the word behind the scenes is that Vince is quote unquote done with a couple wrestlers. They're so far on his totem pole that he's basically done with them. And those wrestlers were Sheldon Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Neither one was released, but they released the Iconics, Billy Kay, who has been killing it. And one of the best wrestlers of the past couple decades, Samoa Joe. So
and one name I was for certain was going to come out did not, and that
Who's
was
that?
Aleister Black. I figured his name would have been on that list, but no, I guess they're rebooting him and everything. He's
been shooting promos from what I've read.
Yeah.
So now the last bit before we move forward, I want to talk about this is now, Jamie. I know you like to blame a certain person for everything wrong in WWE.
just on Raw.
Just on Raw, because the truth of the matter is there's one person you can blame for pretty much all this aside from Vince. It is not who you think it is. It is definitely Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
Kevin Dunn, those of you who don't know, is his father was hired by Vince McMahon Sr. in 1972. He's been on WWE since '84. He's a producer on WrestleMania 1, 2, 3. In '87, he became head of U.S. programming. He is on the board of directors. He is Vince McMahon's appendage. He absolutely is. Like, I know we shit on Bruce Pritchard, deservedly so. But Vince Dunn. No, Vince Dunn, I love you. Go Blues. Kevin Dunn, my least favorite Dunn. He is responsible for a lot of these type of decisions. And he is reported that he just didn't get Billie Kay.
I would expect that he doesn't.
Verbalized to a lot of people that she definitely has a ceiling. He's also the person, if you're wondering, that was not high on Becky Lynch and never thought that she would be a main eventer because of her accent. So that yellow tooth bastard did to us again.
How old is this guy now? 80?
Oh, no, he's like late 60s. He's a few years younger than Vince, but he's basically Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Just not as famous. But anyway.
All right, moving on swiftly. Let's get away from
Please,
this.
let's get away from that. Let's talk
Can
about
I say
AEW.
one thing real quick before we go?
Well, why not?
Because
Sure.
I know it's understandably you're sad for Peyton and Joe and Billy. At the same time, I was kind of excited to hear that they got cut loose because they deserve so much better, and it's coming to them. It's kind of scary in the meantime because you're like, man, fuck, I don't know if it's going to work out. It's got to. They're too good. They're too good for it to not work out for them, so I'm kind of excited for them.
I mean, there's already been some rumblings, They all got 90-day no compete, so and Joe even tweeted as much. Hey, y'all, trying to sit here for 90 days, leave me alone. But there was like Lance Archer tweeted at him, emoji, which that doesn't get you going. Lance Archer and Samoa Joe, you need to check your pulse.
That brings old TNA days.
Oh yes. Speaking of old TNA, Chelsea Green, Dixie Carter put out a thing. They're talking about Chelsea Green. Remember, that's Crazy Hot. That's where we first met
Hot
Chelsea
mess.
Green. How WWE botched that, and they botched her hard. They really did. The Iconics, if they continue wrestling, because let's be honest, they could very well go do like other media stuff. I mean, we'll see what happens, but. Let's move forward.
I could see them being a part of Pinnacle. Just saying.
Oh, you can see almost all these people in AEW. The roster does have limits. Some of them are going to be in Ring of Honor. Some of them are going to be in Impact. Some of them might be in Japan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And some of them, Bo Dallas might not wrestle ever again.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think he's done. He wants to be done.
He's pretty much like retired. Him and Liv got a nice little farm together, and good for him. Yeah. Enjoy the good life. So let's talk about some AEW stuff. We're going to start with firings again. So just as a follow-up, we talked last time about Ivelisse. Ivelisse is playing this whole she doesn't know why she was fired card. She claims that she was mistreated backstage by producers, all this drama and stuff. And she solely places the blame on Thunder Rosa. I don't remember where the interview was. You can look it up online. What's interesting is she's like the only one in the entire company who's ever said anything bad about Thunder Rosa. So more sour grapes from Ivelisse, which is a shame because, like I said, she's a talented girl. She's got a good look, good gimmick to her. Just do something with that attitude. Seriously. Speaking of Thunder Rosa had that match with Kylie Ray, and it was up in the air, and we didn't know why. Well, it's pushed back now to August 21st because Thunder Rosa's got too many NWA commitments. It's July something or another, July 5th or 7th, I don't remember. But Kylie Ray is still supposed to wrestle on that show. So is she back in wrestling? Here's hoping. I mean, we do miss Kylie Ray, so that'd be good. That'd be nice to see.
She's a great wrestler. She just has a lot of demons.
She does, which is, I mean, professional wrestlers. That's not uncommon.
Word.
Meltzer gave up his latest 5-star review. No surprise here. Young Bucks versus Pac and I agree. You did. I like to sit with it for the marinade for a hot minute. But Pac and Phoenix versus Young Bucks 5-star review. He did though then come out and say, and this pissed me off because Meltzer will do this. Just pisses me off because he is. Everybody takes his star ratings as like the word of God, right? Right. That's what everybody in the IWC, internet does. They take his ratings as the word of God, and he is very, very poignant for his favorites. He is absolutely. He said this is one of the best matches, if not, and probably the best match ever on Dynamite.
Wrong. Dead wrong.
And this is the same guy who gave Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker 4.5 stars, and just period in a sentence. Like, damn you, Meltzer.
He's a misogynist. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely. He's a 60-year-old man. What do you expect? No offense, 60-year-old men listening out here.
No,
But
hey,
that's
it's
60-year-old men.
in keeping with
Older guys that have been in the wrestling business for decades, see Kevin Dunn, are generally misogynistic. So, AEW is also tentatively booking dates away from Daily's Place. The word on the street is they're looking hard at going back to the Sears whatever set is the Sears Center. I don't remember what
Sears
they call
Center.
it.
Sears Center.
It's not the Sears Center, but it's the Sears something inside of what used to be called the Sears Center, which is now the something else tower. Whatever. Chicago. They're looking at Chicago and All Out again. So we talked about this before too. That they had moved a couple of their live shows back the least amount of time they've been moved back. So they may be getting close. I know WWE is talking about doing fans at SummerSlam based on, what they happened with WrestleMania. So we're getting close, guys. We're getting close to getting real wrestling in person. Oh, I'm so excited. So
Samesies.
So that's kind of what's been going on around AEW. So we can go into Impact real fast, and then Jamie's going to talk about some New Japan things happening. Impact, I got back into Impact again this week. Like I said before, I was an old school TNA fanboy, and I'm excited because this show, while it did have a lot of views, it was a better show than SmackDown or Raw from last week. It was, first of all, started off with a match right off the bat, which, AEW, we love that. Same thing here. And it started off with a hell of a match. There was 2 really good matches on this. There's a lot of promos. They're setting up this coming Sunday is Rebellion, one of their pay-per-views, which I'll talk about in a second here. But so it started off with 2 of the men who are going to compete for in the triple threat for the X Division title. TJP versus Josh Alexander, our friend from internet. Hello, Josh. This was a stellar match. If you like technical wrestling, we've talked about this with Kushida and others in the past, Pete Dunne. This match was just great. It was so good. TJP, it used to be TJ Perkins in the original cruiserweight in WWE, but TJP, he's gotten so much better since he's left WWE. He's got a little more edge to him. I really like it. Josh Alexander's always just a top performer. He's just severely underrated as a whole throughout the wrestling community, and it was a fantastic match. Josh won it. So they had some other matches on it. They had, Crazy Steve lost to Carl Anderson. They did Jazz who lost at Hardcore Justice. They had her retirement announcement, and it was interrupted by Fire and Flavor, which is the women's tag team champions over there in TNA. Excuse me, Impact. I'm going to do that. I'm going to call it TNA all the time.
We all know what you mean.
It is the same thing. So they were interrupted. They had an impromptu match with Jordan Grace, who's like Jazz's best friend or whatever. They beat them. And then after the match, the whole locker room comes out and she officially announces her retirement. I don't think it's a kayfabe retirement, Jamie. We talked about that. I think she's legit retiring. Mm-hmm. It definitely felt like it. Because after that, Scott D'Amore, the general manager or whatever of Impact, said that the two of them are going to face Fire and Flavor at Rebellion, and Jazz like, nope, I'm a woman of my word. I said I'm retiring, but I got something in mind. So Jordan Grace is going up against a partner of Jazz's choosing against Fire and Flavor for the tag team gold at Rebellion. So that was one match added to this coming Sunday's card.
Interesting.
It is, because I'm trying to think of who it could be, and Tenille Dashwood's gonna fight for Deonna Purrazzo for the heavyweight title. I don't see Jazz picking Rosemary or Havoc or Susan, Sue Young, whichever. I don't know who it could be.
Awesome.
We'll find out. It might.
Brooke Schumacher.
I think she's retired from wrestling, hasn't she?
I don't know. She can come back.
I think she can. Who knows? And then you had the pick your poisons. So Brian Myers and Matt Cardona came out to pick each other's opponents as their little warm-up match for their feud that's going to hopefully culminate at Rebellion. So Cardona picks Jake Something for Brian Myers' opponent. Brian beats him pretty quickly. It was a pretty short match. And then Brian picks the Death Machine, Sami Callihan, for Cardona's opponent. And this match was gold. If you're listening and you don't know a lot about Sami Callihan, go watch some of his matches. He's not like Drew McIntyre, 8-pack abs. He's not like a high flyer like Ricochet or anything like that. He is just a solid all-around, just bruiser. Take a lot of punishment, give a lot of punishment. He's got this like metal cyberpunk look to him. Just this, it's a good look that I like personally. It really hits my sweet spot. It's that type of wrestler, just hard, stiff. I did it again. I'm sorry. He's a very aggressive wrestler. There we go. But the two of them did great. Matt Cardona shows why he should never been cut from WWE. Sami Callihan ends up getting the win in this. And then they do a little thing afterwards with, who was it, Trey Miguel, who he's feuding with. They do announce the rest of the card, though, for Rebellion before the ending. So Sami Callihan's going to face off against Trey Miguel, who kind of looks like, and I don't know, I wanted to find a better way to say this, but I really can't. He looks like a poor man's Ricochet, Mm-hmm. He's kind of got a similar, he's not as high flyer or whatever, but he's got, I don't know. Anyway, but they're going to face off in a last man standing match. That should be great. And then there's going to be an 8-man tag added to it. I talked about the tag team championship as well for the women, but they're also adding Violent by Design, which is Eric Young's faction with Big Jake Deering, Rhino and somebody else, and against Eddie Edwards, Willie Mack, James Storm, Chris Sabin. So it ended, though, with the press conference for the title unification match, Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann. Rich Swann is the Impact and TNA World Heavyweight Champions. Yes, I said that correctly. And Kenny Omega, of course, is the AEW title. Now, they had Tony Khan there. They had Scott D'Amore. Kenny Omega and Don Callis were fashionably late to this thing, of course. So they're asking Scott and Tony, they had a couple, podcasters and journalists, like phone-in questions to start, whatever. And one of the first ones was, what we called that. Everybody's saying this is obviously not going to be end clean. There's no way you guys are going to let your champion be on the other thing, right? And they both, to a man, made it sound very convincing that, no, there is going to be a definitive winner, and these titles are going to be unified under Rich Swann or, more likely, Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. Which I'm excited for that thought because we've been playing with this interpromotional thing a little bit here, right? You got the Good Brothers, this and that, Kenny Omega, sure, whatever. But to have the champion have all 3 belts, that's going to be cool. That's going to be cool.
Agreed.
So anyway, it wasn't that long. It was about 8-10 minutes. This whole thing. Don Callis did have a great line though. I want to say before we go is that he says he comes out and he basically takes over the press conference with his just ridiculous mic skills. Right, kicks out Josh Matthews, says get the F out, and says that Kenny Omega makes Gotch, Flair, Hackensack, and Hogan look like insects in comparison. I love Don Callis. I just love Don Callis, man. I love him more and more every week. So it ends with the fisticuffs and whatever. And so that this Sunday should be just that match alone should just be bomb fire. The pay-per-view I'm excited for. Like I said, I enjoyed getting back into this, especially after watching WWE for so long here and just banging my head against my desk. This was a refreshing, good thing. It's still kind of that old school Impact TNA. The promos were a little campy. A couple things were this and that. But a couple good matches. And this Sunday, Rebellion. So that's what's been going on in Impact.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into New Japan. Let's make this short and sweet for everybody here. First thing I really want to talk about, I want to close the circle on the Toru Yano. Sorry, I'm just messed up his name.
You got to pass all
Yano.
the Japanese
Yeah.
names.
It's the first one I've messed up because it's so short. It's Toru Yano versus Evil, and then they had it out into the world on what stipulation you can pick. Well, everybody, it was actually very, very landslide victory.
Very
for
lopsided.
The Creation of Darkness blindfold match. So this is the one where they're gonna have blindfolds in each of the 4 corners, and the match cannot be decided until you have your opponent blindfolded, and that is the only way a decision can get rendered. So you have to be blindfolded, then you can have countouts, DQs, whatever. That's the only
on
way.
your opponent.
The
person has. Yeah, that's the one that I wanted. I'm glad that was awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So that is a big one there. Then on top of that, the finals for the New Japan Cup of the United States 2021 has been set. So the semifinals were Brody King versus Leo Rush, which I'm a huge Leo Rush fan all of a sudden. Ever since he left WWE, I really like him all of a sudden. Hated him in WWE, but whatever. Well, Brody King defeated Leo Rush, and then Tom Lawler beat Julio. Whatever. So we have Tom Lawler versus Brody King. Thank you very much for having normal names there. And they will receive the inaugural Never Strong, the New Japan Never Strong Open Weight Championship.
Too long.
Long name. So the Open Weight Championship will be crowned. The last person to win the U.S. Cup was Kenta, and he faced off against Jon Moxley for the IWGP US Championship. We all know how that ended.
Right.
So
cool.
Cool. Big stuff there.
I mean, Leo Rush has been. You're right. Leo Rush has been on fire. He's a AAA cruiserweight champion now, and what does he? MLW something champion.
He's the MLW champion as well. He's a
MLW champion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know what level it was. It was something MLW. Cool.
So then, on top of that, the Road to Wrestling Dontaku Night 7 happened on Friday. And it had some actually really damn good matches. So the very first match was Hiroshi Tanahashi versus, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano versus Tamaki Hanma. So I just messed this up. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, and Tamaki Hanu defeated Evil, Dick Togo, and Gedo. So that was a trios match, and then right after that, they announced the stipulation results.
The stipulation for Evil's match. Gotcha there.
Then we had this one's a pretty solid. Will Ospreay, Great Okan, Jeff Cobb, and Aaron Hanre defeated Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi. So that was a banger match.
Ooh.
I probably murdered
You
their
just hear
names.
those names and you're like, ooh, Sonata, Cobb, yes. Oh.
So if you don't know anything about any of these guys, Will Ospreay's amazing. Great Okan is okay. I mean, like, there's nothing great about him. It's just he's good.
Wow.
He's good, Okan. Jeff Cobb's amazing. Like,
Jeff
we
Cobb
got
is
to see him in AEW that one time,
fantastic.
and dude's ridiculous.
He's so underrated, like, as a whole, I think, but he's getting his due.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Shingo, we know Shingo Takagi is really, really damn good. Tetsuya Naito, he's really, really good. He's the guy who does the eye thing like that, For everybody. Yeah, he's a top guy. And then Sanada and Bushi, they're tag team together. They're solid. So this was a banger. Then they had a quick intermission, which also, by the way, you can get this on New Japan World for 999 yen. Steal of a deal. Which breaks down to like $5 American.
Nick, I was gonna have Nick do the conversion real fast because he obviously has the yen conversion in his head, right, Nick?
The conversion?
Yeah, yen.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, moving on here. Yeah. Thanks for chiming in.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah. So then we had our first singles match of Tomohiro Ishii defeated Yujiro Takahashi. This was the best Yujiro match in a long time. I mean, I have not watched a lot of his matches. It was solid. It was good. I'm just gonna give it a good. Just
Good.
over.
It was good.
And then we had Taji Ishimori defeated Hiroki Gato with Tomohiro Ishii in Hiraku's Gato's corner. Really good, very technical, very Japanese. Shocker with those names. Then we have a familiar name, another familiar name for everybody. Kenta defeated Yoshihashi, who's really good.
Okay,
and
I've seen a couple of Yoshihashi's matches.
Yeah,
Really
and
good.
Yoshihashi had Tomohiro Ishii and Hiroki Gato in their corner. It was a 26-minute match, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I like about Japanese wrestling is because it's so focused on the wrestling that you just get these matches that over here in the States would be like the pay-per-view main event length, right? Like, oh my God, this match going on forever. And it's just another match to them. I love that.
Yeah,
love that.
And the funny thing is, the shortest match had most of the big names. The Will Ospreay Jeff Cobb match, it was 7 minutes and 43 seconds. So
that's how you put over other people. Listen. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
we're not there. Sorry.
It was solid. And again, you can find that on NewJapanWorld.com. It's in NJPWWorld.com. And that was the show. So they're working towards wrestling at Dentaku 2021, where one Will Ospreay will be facing off against none other than the Rainmaker himself, Okada.
Oh, I love me some Okada. I really do. You're gonna get really good at pronouncing Japanese names.
Usually I'm pretty good. And the short names messed with me so bad today. It's like I got the long names.
You could do the 35 syllable ones, but it's like the little like, dude, yeah, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I did miss one thing I wanted to say about Impact before we're gonna get into WWE little updates here in just a second. But one last thing about Impact, it kind of ties into WWE. They have a special announcer that's going to be there on their pay-per-view for the main event.
Sure shit do.
Our good friend Moro Ronaldo, who's been in combat sports announcing for the last 20 years. You would remember, if you don't know who the hell I'm talking about, you never watched NXT because, oh my God.
Mamma
Mia!
Mia!
Miss Moro. Mamma Mia indeed. Yeah, so he's going to be announcing, not the whole pay-per-view, but he's going to be calling the Kenny Omega Rich Swann match. God, it's just they are building that match great. So Morrow's back. We don't know if this means that he's open to wrestling again, because he got really burnt out after the whole like NXT whatever, So good to see Morrow back. Yay, Morrow. That's gonna be great.
Word.
All right, let's talk about WWE real fast, and I do want to make this fast because, this past week is more of the same stuff. So, first of all, apparently, a note on last week's Raw. Apparently, and this is by far, like, universally, everybody was trashed it just like we did last week. Said it's the worst Raw after Mania ever.
All time.
And just everybody just went to town on it, all of them. Wrestling Observer, Wrestle Talk, everybody just like F this show. Well, the WWE's excuse was that a lot more stars than expected were not cleared after WrestleMania, and I call complete bullshit on that. I'm just saying, but that's what it was. Let's talk about SmackDown to start, which SmackDown's getting 2 new additions, by the way. Mia Yim and Shane Thorne. No, I'm not calling them by their Retribution names. They are officially moving to SmackDown. So starting this week, we may see them, or we may not see them for another month and a half, and they pop into some bullshit tag team. Who knows? But SmackDown was a show. So they had Pat McAfee on commentary, and either you love Pat McAfee or you hate him. I like Pat McAfee on his radio show. I wish that he was that on this, because he wasn't. He was very play-friendly with Vince's demands, sort of Pat McAfee. If he used to do, like, remember he used to do pre-shows for TakeOver, was it? Mm-hmm. I think it is some WWE take. Anyway, he used to do pre-shows for the pay-per-views, and he was very PG-friendly, I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. It's whatever. But you have Pat McAfee along with Michael Cole. Matches.
Pat McAfee was the highlight of this show.
Pretty much. He definitely was.
I enjoyed it. That was about it.
I mean, he's that. You started like you always do with the Roman Reigns promo. That actually, I didn't mind the promo because, okay, I like this Roman Reigns character. I legitimately do. I just don't like, because it's like they start and stop. It's like they give you a little bit. Like he comes out and he's just arrogant as shit. He's like, blah 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 blah. That's it. I fulfilled my obligation. Cut the check. Start the plane. Let's go. It was good. He had Paul Heyman do most of his talking. I like it. And then of course Cesaro comes out to challenge. I like this. And then he walks away.
That's
I know.
different.
So let's see where it goes here. Spoiler, you're not gonna like it.
Shocker.
Matches. You had Rey Mysterio beating Otis because nothing makes sense. You had Kevin Owens beating Sami Zayn. Yes, I said that correctly. They did that. Whatever. Apollo Crews with okay. So Dabba-Kato. Dabba-Kato is now Commander Aziz. His finisher, which he did on Big E at WrestleMania, was like the thumb into the throat thing. It was the Nigerian nail. And apparently, Commander Aziz is a former member of the Nigerian Elite Guard. Fuck this straight to hell. Moving on. Bianca Belair actually it was a nice little moment with the Street Profits. So they did a celebration. They broke kayfabe, with the whole, because her and Montez are married. That was nice. That was a good feel-good moment, right? Then they do. This is what I loved here. This was my highlight of the show. About halfway through this and then moving to the rest of the show, I don't know if it was, but it definitely was for me. The audio was off by like 15 to 20 seconds for the rest of the show. Mm-hmm. It was like watching a 1970s kung fu movie, and I couldn't stop sitting there just pointing my finger and laughing because that's what they get. Bayley did an interview. Sasha Banks kind of did an interview where she showed off her scar and then stormed off all whatever. So the two of them are going to be in the feuding for the title. I don't know. Street Profits, they had a SmackDown tag title match again 1 week later after they had a 4-way title match against Rude and Ziggler. Rude and Ziggler retained. Natalya beat Shayna Baszler because, just pissed JJ off. I didn't get to see Ruby. Hey, Ruby. Fuck you guys. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. They even did this stupid thing. I apologize for the language.
There went our
sorry.
PG-13. You
Hey.
just messed it up. You done messed up, Ron.
I did too many Fs already. So I'll try and be better. I apologize. But
These things happen,
it's
JJ.
so dumb.
Don't beat yourself up.
And then Nia Jax is like on Twitter, and it's an obvious kayfabe Twitter war she's having with Tamina about how Nia's the black sheep of the family. It's just so stupid. It's like you have a chance. You could do any sort of thing, and what are they doing? They're doing the exact same thing they did before WrestleMania. Speaking of which, your main event was Cesaro versus Jey Uso, which the match ended with Seth Rollins interrupting and, whatever, because he got flashbacks. They showed they're trying to kill the UFO already. They showed the UFO at least 7 times throughout the show leading up to it, much like they did the whole Seth Rollins spinny thing for a month. Mm-hmm. Well, they're doing the same thing. Same old SmackDown. It sucked. It was a shit fest.
Hold on. So you're saying Roman Reigns wasn't in the match, and then Seth Rollins came out to interfere?
He interfered. He jumped Cesaro at the end of the match. Yes.
So what you're saying is that these two guys who hate each other are eventually going to come together to form mega powers?
I'm going to look up who actually created the Mega Powers, because I would love it if all this time it was actually somebody other than Bruce Pritchard. But I don't. Roman wasn't even there. He was back in the back. He didn't even come out. He didn't give a shit. It was whatever. Seth Rollins is still feuding with Cesaro because why give us anything new? Okay. Speaking of nothing new, Raw was last night, if anybody saw that. Raw was equally as great as SmackDown. Drew McIntyre trying to figure out why Mason T-Bar attacked him. We are too. Then you get Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin versus the Viking Raiders. Yes, you saw that same match last week. Yes, it was the exact same match with the exact same result. Viking Raiders won. You got the one little tidbit that I liked about this was the next bit, and it was repeated throughout the thing. It's RKO and Riddle. I didn't know that I wanted that, but I actually do.
I'm cool with it.
So Riddle comes up, and he wants to form a tag team with RKO, and he's like, we call ourselves the RK Bros. And then whatever. He just a typical stoner thing too. I know. More bro puns.
Dude, I
right?
gotta say this real quick. I love Matt Riddle in the ring. Outside of that, I can't stand him. I cannot stand him. He's Cameron Grimes level with me at this point with his shtick.
Really? Okay. See, to me, he wavers. He goes from
wrestling-wise,
stupid.
he is awesome.
Oh, he's one of the best by far.
His gimmick, I can't stand.
He does this waiver for me because it'll go from this is terrible, this is horrible, this is so bad it's funny, it's terrible, it's horrible, it's so bad it's funny, just back and forth, back and forth. This particular segment had me up, okay, and then you get Drew McIntyre demanding a match against both Mason T-Bar, which is Dio Madden and Dominic Dijakovic, and if JJ was booking this is the perfect time because Adam Pearce is trying to tell him, you must have a tag team partner. And eventually he's like, no, I'm going to do it myself. It's like, why in the flying hell don't you pull out Keith Lee? There is your answer, because you could have Keith Lee reuniting his feud against Dominic Dijakovic. But no, they won't do that. Riddle actually fade off against RKO in a good match.
Can't.
See, I'm like, I'm just going to be quiet for a second. He'll wake up. You're not really sleeping. We know that. Okay?
Oh, I want to be.
For those of you listening, Jamie's trying to kayfabe sleep over here. So anyway.
And you went silent, and I couldn't hold it.
I know. I knew it. I knew as soon as we go silent. That's why I gave Nick the shish. I was like, don't say anything. We're going to go silent for a second. Hey, Riddle and RKO, they actually fought. This is actually the one good match of the night. Riddle won it, surprisingly. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Lana and Naomi, interrupted by Barbie Demolition. I hate what they've done to Mandy Rose. I hate. Can't stand this. It's obvious they are Vince's wet dream. It's stupid. Their outfits are not wrestling outfits. They look like slutty Barbie Demolition. If you don't know who Demolition is, look up their S&M outfits, make them pink, and give them big tits and blonde hair. That's what it is.
Yep.
I don't know how. I don't think there was a match somewhere in there. Whatever. Miz TV interrupted by Damian Priest. Elias faced off against Kofi Kingston. He actually beat Kofi Kingston somehow. I don't know. I was making dinner. Alexa's Playground here. Good news is she's moving away from the Fiend. Bad news is this is still happening. Her doll is like convincing her, tells her to beat up people. Whatever. She's going back into like targeting the women, so she's going to start wrestling again. Maybe, who knows? Whatever. And then backstage, there's Mandy and Dana again, and Nia Jax comes up, and Shayna and Nia are starting to fight now. So they're starting to put little seeds of dissension in them. They're gonna break up, and then you get Angel Garza, who comes up and basically hits on Nia. Doesn't know why she's hanging out with Reginald, who we haven't seen for a month. That made me happy. But yeah, so Angel Garza out of effing nowhere, right? Sure, great, cool. Mason T-Bar face off against Drew McIntyre. They end up getting disqualified because they just beat the crap out of him. And then they're saved by Keith Lee. No, because JJ is not booking the show. Braun Strowman comes out because why not? So now you got Mason T-Bar versus Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre and Strowman get eliminated because Strowman just keeps beating up both of them. He rips both their masks off, so at least we finally see them as who they are. Whatever, I'm over everything. Miz versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest wins, and then you end. Oh no, quick. Sheamus does the I'm doing the U.S. Open challenge, and anybody, whatever. Answered by Humberto Carrillo,
who I heard is getting jacked.
He looks great. You wouldn't know it based if you watched this show because he just got the shit kicked out of him for about 5 minutes. No match started. He just got the crap beat out of him, and then that was it. And then you got Charlotte versus Asuka at the end. Rhea Ripley's at ringside. She interferes in a weird way. She costs Charlotte, with her figure eight, which leads to Asuka getting a win. And then Charlotte beats up a ref, incessantly beats up a ref. And that's your Raw. Great.
I don't know what to say to that.
There's nothing to say. It was a shit fest, and we all can agree on that. Let's talk about something that was good, though. Because those are not how you do a post-takeover or a post pay-per-view show. This is. Take NXT from this past Tuesday, the first Tuesday NXT. This is how you do a post pay-per-view show, okay? There was a little bit of everything. They had a heartfelt moment. There was a title match. You had just a wicked, awesome, interesting, a main event. You set up new feuds. This is how you do it, okay? So it starts with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross comes out, does a quick little promo. Then you get into MSK versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick for the tag titles, right? This was entertaining as hell. MSK ended up winning, and then Imperium came out and attacked Killian Dane mostly, and Drake Maverick afterwards. They're obviously trying to recruit Killian Dane into Imperium. I like this storyline because I would love to see a cleaned up version of Killian Dane in Imperium.
Yeah, like one with a shaved back.
Yeah, Jamie and I talked about that a month and a half ago.
Shaved back, like a trimmed beard, and
Maybe they
or
heard
at least,
the podcast.
At least manicured. Like maybe he could shave his name and his back.
Manicured. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I'm all for that. That was cool. You had Mercedes Martinez face off against Jessie Kamea to kind of end the story. So this is what you do. You end a storyline and then you move it forward afterwards, right? This is how you freaking do wrestling. So she beats Jessie Kamea, then makes Robert Stone pay her, walks over with because he still owes her half the money or whatever, and then walks over to the announce desk and yells loud enough in the mic that she's coming for Raquel Gonzalez. And I'm like, good. That's how you do booking. Good for you. So she got to win. Got to move it on there. A quick way promo. Santos Escobar then comes out, and now that he's unified, he's the defending undisputed cruiserweight champion. He opens an open challenge, answered by Kushida. Kushida wearing actual wrestling tights, not those Back to the Future-esque jeans, And this match, oh my god. Everybody knows I got a thing for Kushida as a wrestler. I love him to death. I don't think he's gotten his due. But that all changed because he beat Santos Escobar. He is your new Cruiserweight champion. It was a fantastic match. Not a 5-star match. I'm not going to go out on a limb that far. It's a 4-star for sure.
It was a solid 4.
It was a good match. And Kushida finally gets some due. So I'm happy for that.
Yeah, he's long overdue. Guy's a star.
It was so good, so good. Then you have your heartfelt moment. Raquel Gonzalez comes out, does a promo. She's greeted by Rhea Ripley and then Bianca Belair. And they all come out. They're all friends again. They hold their titles up. They show a picture of them from like 3 years ago when they started at the Performance Center and up on the screen. And there's now all 3 of them are champions. So, yay, that felt good. Heartfelt moment. Whatever. And then interesting thing happens. So Roderick Strong, they started off the show with a little vignette or a little look. Him and his wife Marina Shafir were arriving at the Performance Center, and they get to this spot here where they go into Regal's office, and here is Roderick handing Regal a manila envelope, and Roderick Strong says, "I hope we see you again one day. Wish you best in your endeavors." So they're definitely selling this hard. I cannot believe for a second that this is actually true or not. But they're selling it great. I hope this leads to a really. At minimum, this is basically him just taking some time off. Maybe they're gonna have another kid. Maybe they gotta have a third boy running around the house. I don't know, but it was interesting. But
we saw last week how it really goes down. they're not going to make it production.
Yeah. He's not quitting.
No.
He's going, I worry that he'll pop in on Friday night on my TV. That's really what I worry about.
Hey, I called that last week.
You did?
Last week, the week before.
Well, they're definitely not done with the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly thing.
No.
Adam Cole doesn't want to leave NXT like ever. So, and he's got all the pull with Triple H. So he's not going to go up. I know you were talking about they could have brought him up last week on Raw. Mm-hmm. Not chance in hell Adam Cole goes up. He'll leave before he goes up. No. I swear to God. So anyway, I don't know where we're going with this, but we'll see what happens. But that was cool. Leon Ruff and Isaiah Swerve Scott faced off a one-on-one match. Very good. These two, like I said, I didn't know that I wanted this. I bitched about it. Then I saw it. Now I like it. Do you have happy things to say?
There's a lion tamer.
Yeah, I was waiting for you there. I was going to give you your due, but you just got too giddy. So there was a lion tamer on television on a wrestling match. Where was that lion tamer at? Why don't you talk about that for a second, Jamie? This is your shtick, okay? This is for you. Go for it.
For anybody who doesn't know what a lion tamer is, I feel pity upon you and your soul because you are missing out on one of the most glorious submission of all time. Number 1 submission of all time. Sharpshooter? Nah. Crippler crossface? Nah. It's the lion tamer. And this one was done not in the ring. Oh no. Wasn't done on the apron, the hardest part of the ring. Nuh-uh. Wasn't even done on the floor. Nope. You know where it's done? On the steel steps.
On the top of the steel steps at the corner. It was Swerve doing it to Rough, of course.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Knee in the back. It was glorious. Like Chris Jericho had to have been very proud.
It was short. It was only about like a 3 second or 4 second hold or whatever, but it looked good. I saw that. I immediately go, well, because I saw it before you. I know I watched NXT before you did, Jamie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, well, there goes Jamie's nipples next week. Okay.
Yeah. I could glass right about now talking about it.
It looked great. And this whole match, Lion Tamer was fantastic. Like, it is one of Jamie's favorite moves, it doesn't I like Spanish flies, but that everybody's got their favorite move. And Jamie, I see mine all the time. Jamie never gets to see a lion tamer because nobody does them. Maki Ito, that's it. And Swerve can do it. We know he can do it. So that bar's up there. This was a great match. Like I said, I didn't know before TakeOver that I wanted to see this because I couldn't stand it. I didn't know where it was coming from, but the in-ring stuff makes me want it. I like it. It's cool. Swerve got the win, by the way. So Swerve got the win. Zoe Stark promo interrupted by Mercedes Martinez. Setting up feuds. This is how you set things up. So anyway, they're both going to be, feuding. By the way, you have Saray.
Long A.
I'm sorry. Long A. She's making her debut next week. So if you've never seen her stuff, go watch some of her things on YouTube, some stuff from Stardom. You like Io Shirai, you're going to like her. Okay,
she's got the goods. She's got the goods.
She's good. And then your main event. Oh, I loved every second of this.
Same.
It was The Way. So you have the Garganos with Indy Hartwell and Austin Theory versus Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, Shotzi, and Ember. So everybody that was in kind of a feud-ish together, and they put them in. And so here you have a 8-person mixed tag team match. And if you thought Indy was, thirsty for Dexter Lumis before, you ain't seen nothing, because she kept trying to get in the match when he was in there. She's trying to steal kisses from him all the time. It was and Dexter. I think we failed to mention, like, during the Ways tag team championship match at TakeOver he was on the watch party on WWE.com or wherever the hell it was, whatever. And at the end of it, he is stone faced the whole time, and they're trying to get like clues out of him, the hosts that are there, and if he was into Indy or not. At the very end, he is kind of like kind of bobs his head a little bit, then pulls up a sign. It's like a caricature of Indy doing her little elbow drop. It says Indy-rific. So
hashtag index. Don't forget the hashtag index.
He put hashtag index. And so so that's going on. The match was fantastic. There were intergender spots like all the time in this thing. So it was great. At one point, everybody was outside, and Bronson Reed was in the ring by himself, and Shotzi comes up to him and goes, "Throw me! Throw me! Throw me!" So he picks her up, bench presses her, and tosses her over onto the lot of people outside. Ember was getting on it. Ember was beating up on Johnny a lot, which is funny if you watch Up Down Down, because there was a whole shtick with the Pokemon tournament they had recently. Anyway, it comes down near the end, so Johnny is getting ready to get tapped out by Dexter, and Indy comes in and saves him by lying down on her back, next to them in the ring. And Dexter sees her and releases Johnny, and then goes to pick her up. And then something or another comes through, and she pops up, whatever it is. I think Candace hits. I don't remember. But so it was Austin. Austin Theory then comes and distracts him, moves him out of the way, which pisses Indy off. So Indy then throws Austin Theory out of the ring, and then goes back over and lies down again, this time on the apron over by where Dexter fell out. Dexter comes, picks her up, carries her away, and she's like sitting there acting like she's passed out, and then just turns back towards the ring, like back towards the camera, does a wink and a thumbs up, and then goes back to sleep. And
it was so good.
There's memes all over Twitter for it. It was great. I loved every second of it. Index finally happened. Spoiler alert, she's not kidnapped. They found her, like she came back. It was her plan to remove Dexter from the equation she tried to sell Johnny on, and they were not buying it. So anyway, she's grounded now, apparently. Johnny took her phone away from her. At the end, it ended up with Bronson, Loomis, Shotzi, and Ember end up getting the win. Candice went for a very ill-conceived suplex on off of the ropes on Bronson Reed. That was not going to happen, and eventually, I think Shotzi got the pin. So that's how you do a pay-per-view show. You had good fun action. You wrapped up a lot of segments. You had some new feuds starting, title change, good moments. I like it. I give it a Spotfest. I really like that episode.
I did too.
Do you have a ranking for it, or?
I would give it Spotfest.
Okay.
It was solid. I mean, I got a lion tamer.
That lion
index.
tamer. That lion tamer moved it up, didn't it?
I got lion tamer index. That was enough.
That's what you need. Nick, did you watch the episode or not?
I did. Yeah, I gave it a Spotfest as well. It was
okay.
It was good all the way around. And look, I mean, you guys,
I know
you guys just said it, but had every match been decent, the simple fact that there was a lion tamer, I mean, that's that. You get a whole star just for that.
Well, yeah.
I
I like lion tamers. I don't like them nearly as much as Jamie does. Or like,
well, they're just so rare. And I will say this:
it's a good looking. If it's done right, it's a great looking move.
It is a good looking move.
Swerve.
When you see it being
can do
done
it.
to somebody, it's that move that you can feel. Like as you're watching it, that's what makes it good for
Right.
me. Is like you're like, oh god, that looks.
It reminds me of, like,
excruciating.
when-
oh my god,
Yeah, it reminds me when Shayna did her like little arm stomp back when she
yes,
was in NXT.
that's a great example.
Oh,
Yeah.
that thing is like she did it on and like broke the shit out of who was that?
Dakota Kai.
Dakota
Dakota
Kai's
Kai
arm.
and Kairi Sane.
That's
did
right.
Kairi- okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, but she did others that she didn't. But
Or actually, I think Kairi Sane. For sure, it was maybe not Dakota Kai. I don't know.
I think it was Dakota. Anyway, but it
looked great.
Every one looked like she did it. It looked on Ember Moon, all of them. So
Yeah.
good episode. We'll see what goes on. As I said, it's a great time for wrestling. We got wrestling on every night. You know what's not a great time for? Maybe our ears. We don't know what's coming. So
Yes. And now it is time for Deep Thoughts with
It's time
Young
to-
Boy Ninth Wonder.
JJ, I hope you brought candles. Go ahead and light them up.
I'm gonna go.
All right.
Mood
here's,
lighting, mood lighting.
Here's what I was want to do with you guys. So, as Jamie and JJ have correctly pointed out in past episodes, it is my tendency to really cut things down and ruin them for everybody. It's just a natural proclivity that
Pitch
I
and
have.
wine. Oh God, excuse me.
So
We all got our talents.
we all do. If you enjoy
Sour
something,
man.
if you enjoy something in life and set it in front of me, I will make you hate it and yourself a few seconds later. But I don't want to hurt anybody. So here's what I got in mind. I wanted to take you guys through the good and the bad at the same time, what makes it good and what makes it bad. Now, to get things started off, I wanted to talk about something and take you back to a time that is past and present simultaneously. And so here's where we're going. And we're going to continue this in episodes to come. Okay? JJ's on. Oh, he's scared to death right now. JJ's scared to death right now.
Freaking Carl Sagan over here.
So-
okay, go ahead.
What I want to talk about today is exposition. And exposition is point A on Freitag's Pyramid. And if you have not heard of Freitag's Pyramid, what we're talking about is just the basic structure of a story.
Oh, I thought it was like some kind of submission move.
No, well, it may be. It may be. It'll be my finisher at the end of this. So, exposition. Basic stuff. This is where we set up characters, okay? What I want to use as an example in the positive, and I'm not going to do a negative example today because I want us to get us started off on the right foot, but when I'm talking about something past and present simultaneously, I'm referring to the Firefly Funhouse. This is something that is,
Okay.
what are we
Okay.
talking about? It's a year and a half old, almost 2 years old.
It's almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
But it is still going on. Now, here's where I want to begin on the positive side. With regard to exposition, if you can take yourself back, when we first started seeing flashes of the Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt had been gone for some months. And then we don't just get him back, we get little flashes. And the first thing that we see is a little vignette, 20, 30 seconds long with some creepy little like tubular bell type music. And then Mercy the Buzzard pops out of a cardboard box. He's got a real gruff voice, and we don't really know what's going on. And then he kind of snaps at the camera. Like, what the hell was that? Because there's no puppets on WWE, let alone creepy-looking puppets popping out of cardboard boxes. It was mysterious. It drew you in. And, of course, the rumor mills swirl, and you got your ideas of what it could mean. But you're intrigued is the point. That's where we're starting off. You're intrigued by something totally different. And a sign of things to come. Then we get another vignette with Abby the Witch, similar. And then finally, we get to meet Bray Wyatt, the new Bray Wyatt. And here is what is so beautiful about the new Bray Wyatt and what they did correctly with respect to exposition. Excuse me. We get the new Bray Wyatt. He pops in the door. He's smiling. He's cheerful. He's on a set of what we will soon find out is the Firefly Funhouse. It looks like kind of like a cross between like Mr. Rogers and
ghetto Mr. Rogers neighborhood.
Yeah, Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
That's the feeling you get. But he pops in, he's waving, he's bouncy, he's friendly, he's smiling. But Bray Wyatt's got some backstory, so you know that he's not gonna be a face like that. Then you got the creepy puppets there, so it's a little menacing. And still, as WWE fans, we're looking at this, and I don't know about you guys, but when I saw this, I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. It was just.
Oh, I felt that way hard.
It was off
first
enough.
3 or 4. I'm like,
yeah, you're watching it, and you're like,
right.
I don't know what the hell's happening.
Okay,
but you're still watching, you're still interested. Now, here's some things. The attention to detail that was put into this was phenomenal, and it is, in my estimation, a direct result of Vince, whoever, giving just freedom, carte blanche to Bray, saying, okay, you've presented this idea to us, and we can tell that you're feeling it. Go ahead, run with it, make it do what you want it to do. That's the way it looks to me, because everything in it has thought behind it. And as we know, there's usually not a lot of thought that goes into this stuff. It's usually just kind of like action figures thrown into a toy ring, and then you just see how they fall. Not this case.
See Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Go on.
Prime example. I almost did that for tonight. I almost threw this in there. So credit to you, sir. But we get, right off the bat, we get the gloves when they pop up, the hurt and the heel. You know what I mean? There's another layer of mystique to it. And you're like, oh, man, that sounds kind of badass. What's that about? You get the dark and the light, the juxtaposition, the Firefly Funhouse, the appearance of the kids show. It's counterintuitive to who Bray Wyatt is. So you get these conflicting, energies going. It's just, you're like, okay, we're building on something here. Mercy the Buzzard being based off of an inspiration for the previous Bray Wyatt and then another wrestler down the line. Each little puppet has his own little backstory. Amazing stuff, right? And then it just builds from there and it draws you in. We're going to get into the next step on the pyramid and where this story develops from there. But just as an introduction, I wanted to say that these things matter if you want a quality product. The Firefly Funhouse in its beginning was high quality, in my opinion. The thought that went into each element of it and the slow release of it and the way it was done all added to that quality, the mystique that drew you in, kept you watching, And let's be honest, at the time, I distinctly remember Jamie saying numerous times, he is the only thing SmackDown has. And it was because of the Firefly Funhouse. So I'll leave it at that for today. And then we'll take another step. And you better believe it, for every positive that I brought today, I'm going to absolutely destroy in the episodes to come.
Thank you, Professor Nick. That was not was that what you were expecting at all, Jamie?
No, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
I dig it. I didn't take notes. I feel like I'm gonna fail this test at the end of this. I'll go back and listen to it.
Well,
and
now that I've got your attention, I want to do some ASMR.
Yeah.
Well, and Cameron Grimes. All right.
No.
So, all right, take it back. So, thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us for our new format here, for including Deep Thoughts by the Ninth Wonder. That was fantastic. So, we will be back at it again every Tuesday, every Thursday. Join us this Thursday when we go over AEW. As you guys, if you haven't heard us before, you can probably guess AEW is our sweet spot. So, we do a dedicated show every week for Dynamite. This is kind of our first run through of doing a little bit of mumble jumble of everything. Talk about some news, talk New Japan, Impact. Still talking about a little WWE, specifically NXT stuff, and let us know what you think. Give us a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to us on any of your favorite podcast channels, give us a shout at Total Spotfest. You can holler at me and Jamie as well. We have our Twitters listed below as at JFaulkner56 or at JMoney1536. But give us a shout. If you're on YouTube and you like what you see, give us a follow, give us a like. Tell your friends if you like what you saw here or heard, especially Professor Nick's Asimov's 9 rules of whatever the hell that was. I don't know. We're gonna get more of that, and we will be back, like I said, next week again to do this on Tuesday. But thank you one more time for joining us, Nick. Why don't you say some final words to your students in the class?
Class dismissed.
I thought you were just going to leave it at that. That was going to be wonderful.
That would be good.
That's going to be wonderful. I'm going to say goodbye. Jamie, why don't you take us home, man?
All right, everybody. If you're not down with TSL, I got 2 words for you. Mamma mia!
That's it. See you guys next time. Peace.